Hi there and welcome to Yarnspirations.com. In this video we're going to take a look at the Knit Ripples and Ridge blanket knit in a new yarn from Bernat called Beyond. Beyond is a super bulky yarn and it is 85% acrylic and 15% nylon. It is very soft and very cushy. We're going to need 7 balls of cream, 4 balls of slate, 4 balls of pumpkin, and a size US 11 or 8 millimeter circular knitting needle. It needs to be 40 inches long or longer. Now we're going to knit back and forth in rows. We're not knitting in the round, but we need that long length to accommodate our stitches. So let's get started with the knitting. All right, working on the knitting. The first thing you're going to do is cast on 139 stitches with the cream and work 8 rows of knitting, which gives you this little garter stitch border. Now my sample is not 139 stitches long, nor is my knitting needle 40 inches long. I'm using smaller materials so you can see what I'm doing on camera. So the next thing it says is proceed in stripe pattern as follows, and this is a right side row. So the first thing we're going to do is knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now there is a star or an asterisk, whichever you prefer to call it, and we're going to repeat the instructions that are in the asterisks. So knit 1, yarn over by bringing the yarn between the 2 needles and over the top of the right hand needle. Knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Knit 2 together twice, and the knit 2 together is a decrease, and that's literally knitting 2 stitches together as if they're 1. So 1, 2, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over. Once again, bring the yarn between the 2 needles and over the right hand needle. Now we go back to that first star or asterisk and repeat those instructions. Knit 1, yarn over, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 2 together twice. Here's 1, knit 2 together. There's the second, knit 2 together. Knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over. Now you'll have to repeat this several more times to get across your row, but I'm at the end of mine. I only have 2 repeats in my swatch. So when I've gotten all the way across until 5 stitches remain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is my first row, and this you can see already the chevrons are starting to happen. They will, the points will go down where the decreases are and head north where the increases are. So let's do the next row, the wrong side row, which is primarily a purl row. It's knit 4, purl across to last 4 stitches, knit 4. So while I'm knitting that row and purling that row, I want to talk about the number of stitches in the row. Now yarn overs are increases and knit 2 togethers are decreases. But in this pattern we have the same number of stitches in every row because there are the same number of increases as there are decreases. So despite all the increasing and decreasing and whatnot, all that's going to do is give you the chevron pattern. It is not going to change the number of stitches in every row. So once again, we're purling back until 4 stitches remain, and then we'll knit the last 4 stitches. All right, we have 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to knit 4. So those 4 at the beginning and the end are going to give us the garter stitch border on the 2 long sides of the blanket. So we knit the bottom border. We're knitting the 2 side borders as we go, and of course we're going to end with a garter stitch border. All right, so here's how it looks after the first row. Now, from here on out, you're essentially repeating the same 2 rows over and over until you get to the second border. But I do want to go ahead and do one more row on camera. So I'm going back to row 1 because it looks a little different when you're knitting it on pre-existing stitches than it does when you're putting it on top of the border. So let's go ahead and knit row 3, which is the same as row 1. So it's a right side row. So we're going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're in the asterisks or stars. So knit 1, yarn over. Now you can see the yarn over is basically on top of where a yarn over already exists from the row before. So again, that makes it an easy thing to see. You like to be intuitive when you're knitting. So that's knit 4. Now we're going to knit 2 together twice. Now once again, if you look closely, you can see these are the 2 knit togethers from the previous row. So the knit 2 togethers are going to stack up on top of each other. 1, 2. Then knit 4 and yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4. See my yarn overs over here. There's my new one. Yarn over. And then we're going to go back to the beginning of the asterisk or the star, knit 1. Yarn over, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 2 together twice, knit 4 and yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, and then it's till it will say repeat from star or asterisk until 5 stitches remain. Knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my last 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just want to show you this center section. Again, you'll have this happen to you multiple times in your swatch, but I've only got 2 repeats, so it's only going to happen the one time for me. But as you're looking at the top points of your chevron, so the places where your chevron points up, you'll see that yarn over, knit 1, yarn over. You're going to have a vertical column of knit stitches. That's one of the ways that you can tell that your pattern repeats are lining up, is that it's going to go straight up the center. So the next thing I'm going to do is the next wrong side row, and I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you about changing color. Because at the same time as we're repeating row 1, row 2, we also are counting rows for the stripe pattern. So we're going to do 20 rows in A, and then 20 B, and then 20 C. So these 60 rows form the stripe pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and knit the wrong side row off camera, and then I'm going to come back and talk about changing color. Actually, I put a few more rows on since I turned off the camera last, because I wanted you to see how the chevron's starting to build up. The lower points that are pointing down build up where the 2 knit 2 togethers are right next to each other, and then the top points are starting to build up where the yarn over, knit 1 at the end of the asterisk happens. The yarn over, knit 1, and then the yarn over of the next repeat of the asterisk. And you'll notice the farther away we get from the border, the more obvious the chevron is. But it's actually really cool because the colors will change in the chevron pattern without us having to do anything fancy, because the actual work is taking the shape that we need. So let's talk for a second about changing colors. Now, according to our stripe pattern, we're going to keep knitting in the cream until 20 rows have been completed. Now the 20 rows is 20 rows after the border. It's not 20 rows including the border, okay? So your 8 rows of garter stitch don't count in the 20, then you're going to do 20. And then the next color that we're going to use is the slate. Now there's 97 ways that you can change colors, but honestly the easiest thing that I find to do is to just begin with a fold of the yarn, maybe 6 to 8 inches in from the end, and then go back when the piece is done and you've blocked it and you're getting ready to use it. You can just weave in your ends, and that will neaten things up. I don't like to tie knots. I don't like to do any fancy joins. I just like to start with the next color. So the stitches in the new color are going to be a little bit loose, but of course you can fix that when you go and weave in ends. So I'm holding my new color in my hand. I'm letting the old color just hang out for now, and I'm going to knit row 1 like I've been doing. Knit 4, and then the asterisk begins, and it's knit 1, yarn over, knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 2 together twice, knit 4, and yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, and then I would move on to my next repeat of the asterisk, which you do not need to watch me do. But the point that I want to make is, because we are making all of these color changes, because you're knitting 20 rows in each color, we're making all of these color changes on a right side row, so you get a nice cleanly demarcated line. You're going to have that little two-tone stitch on the back, but it's on the back. But by changing the color on the right side row, you get a very sharp line where the color changes, and that makes it look very tailored and neat. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful time knitting our Ripple and Ridge knit blanket in Bernat Beyond yarn. It's a very simple knit that you will get finished very quickly, and you will very much enjoy cuddling up under it. Thank you for joining us on Yarnspirations.com. We'll see you again soon.